the Guianas. A place of rich biological beauty and tremendous cultural diversity. The Guianas are located along the northeast coast of South America and comprise of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. The countries are relatively small and boast low human population densities, with on average only about 10% of their landmass being inhabited. There are also rich expanses of untouched forests and therefore tremendous opportunities for nature conservation. Although there are human communities inhabiting the forests, the ecological footprint is relatively small. Agriculture, hunting, and fishing are the main sources of subsistence. Wildlife is important as food. But in several communities, young animals are also kept as pets. Wildlife trade occurs at both the local and international scale. Due to the potential impact on biological diversity, good management of the trade in wildlife is of interest to the World Wildlife Fund. Support is being provided to national institutions to help monitor and regulate this trade. The beaches of the Guianas host the largest nesting populations of giant leatherback turtles in the Atlantic. Some of the biggest threats to marine turtles are poaching of the eggs and mortalities from capture in fish nets. To safeguard these critically endangered species, efforts are in place to reduce threats and support conservation initiatives. WWF collaborates with national authorities to monitor turtle populations and support activities that reduce fisheries by catch, thus ensuring stable and/or increasing populations. Together, marine turtles can be protected for the enjoyment of all peoples of the region. Some of the key threats to water in the Guianas are caused by siltation and chemical runoff due to inappropriate forest exploitation and mining. A successful conservation program must therefore identify mechanisms that will permit natural resources to be exploited in a sustainable manner. WWF has started working with local communities to build capacity for sustainable development. Persons are being informed on wildlife laws, conservation, and sustainable development opportunities. All age groups are being targeted. The oldest traces of human activities in the Guianas have been found in the savannas, particularly the savannas in the southern part of the country. It is believed that the original inhabitants of the Guianas lived in the savannas. The savannas are important ecological landscapes in the Guianas. They are embedded in tropical rainforests and Tepui sandstone peaks. Grass is the dominant vegetation type, but present are also shrubs, trees, and small forest islands. In its efforts to support the conservation of vulnerable species that are often found only in the savannas of the Guianas, WWF periodically visits some of the more remote savannas, increasing its knowledge of the landscape and strengthening linkages with the local communities. A species of conservation concern in the region is the blue poison arrow frog, which is indigenous to the Guianas and reportedly restricted to the Sipilawini savanna of Suriname. Not surprisingly, this species is therefore of significant conservation concern to WWF, who hopes to work closely with local communities to protect the ecosystems on which this species relies. WWF is also interested in working with forest communities to ensure sustained development of indigenous livelihoods that can help maintain savanna ecosystems and protect the abundance of life that abounds within them. A well-managed ecotourism program, for example, can support traditional lifestyles while at the same time sustain the natural environment. The forest ecosystems of the Guianas include lush rainforests and large, rapidly flowing rivers, which together host diverse and unique wildlife. A wonderful example of this is the Guinean cock of the rock. This bird has a very limited distribution and is only found close to granite outcrops. The lek seen here is located in the Central Suriname Nature Reserve. Other important ecosystems include tepuis, which are unique because of their geological formation. From the tops of tepuis, the biological diversity of the Guianas can be enjoyed, and the extensive untouched landmass is clearly evident. The Guiana's rainforests are home to species that have the potential to be significant contributors to the region's economic development. Where large tracts of forest containing species of conservation priority and/or economic importance are identified, it is necessary that steps be taken to conserve these important landscapes. Governments, NGOs, and other stakeholders should be invited to work together to identify and implement the best possible development and conservation actions that safeguard the long-term survival of the species that inhabit the area. The endangered giant otter is the largest of the world's 13 otter species. It is found only in South America. It is estimated that there are currently only about 1,000 to 1,500 individuals of giant otters left in the world. The species has disappeared from many parts of South America, leaving the Guyana ecoregion as one of its few remaining strongholds. Giant otters require large tracts of aquatic space to survive. Their presence is often detected by the presence of dens, scent, and claw marks along the muddy banks of remote and uninhabited creeks and rivers. Otters are top predators of the freshwater ecosystem food chain, and so are useful indicators of water quality. This and their rapid declining populations makes the species of special interest to WWF. Without some intervention, otters may disappear completely from the Guianas. The need to monitor water quality in the Guianas is very real. Gold mining occurs on a large scale in the region, with more than 120,000 persons estimated to be involved in the extraction of gold ore. Elemental mercury, which is released at gold mining sites, is the mercury form of greatest public concern, as its impact on local biological diversity can be significant. WWF Guianas is involved in supporting research to assess the impact of gold mining-related mercury on biological diversity. In this way, mechanisms to reduce the adverse impact of gold mining on the environment can be identified. Giant otters, for example, consume large volumes of fish and crabs. They are therefore extremely vulnerable to bioaccumulation of toxins like mercury that may be present in the freshwater environment. WWF Guianas has determined that areas which host rare and/or endangered species are good candidates for the establishment of biological or conservation reserves. Sites of special interest include Shell Beach of Guyana, which hosts important marine turtle nesting sites. The Kaburi Creek of Suriname, home to the giant river otter and a number of rare birds. And the southern part of French Guiana, which is being targeted for the establishment of a national park. By working closely with local governments, NGOs, and community groups, the protected area development process is currently being explored. WWF Guianas recognizes that in order to sustain the unique biodiversity of the Guianas, it is not enough to simply educate the public. The impact of human actions on ecological processes must be carefully monitored and regulated, and boundaries set to safeguard natural home ranges for all wildlife, especially those facing the greatest survival challenges. The establishment of a protected areas network based on broad-scale public and government consultation, taking into consideration socio-economic, political, and biological influences and needs, and supported by the best available scientific and traditional knowledge, is one way in which this can be achieved. WWF looks forward to being a part of this process and making its contribution to the conservation of the Guianas ecoregion complex. WWF Guianas hopes that by working together, all peoples of the region may continue to enjoy and benefit from their forest resources and the ecological services that these resources provide. Several indigenous communities live in and around the savannas of the Guianas. These local inhabitants are important in the development of initiatives designed to conserve the important biological and geological formations that are found in the savannas. The biggest threat to otters is habitat loss. Another potential threat is aquatic pollution. WWF is keenly interested in monitoring populations of otters within the region. Guided by consultations with scientists, governments, and local communities, WWF is initiating action to protect priority otter populations from further decline. Pollution of water bodies, especially of heavy metals such as mercury, is generally manifested in the tissues of aquatic species. Gold mining can therefore have a devastating impact on freshwater biological diversity in the Guiana's wetland ecosystems. Leaving our children a living planet.